So it seems like there's been a little bit of an update with the entire Cinder situation, and well, it's not looking too good at the moment. If you don't know, obviously, there's been this whole drama going on with Cinder and a lot of VTubers in the community, and well, she's been pretty much ousted, and she's been kind of, I guess, kicked out of the community. There hasn't been any kind of word from her ever since the terrible apology that she put out over on her Twitter. But again, I feel like she's not going to be very well accepted into the VTuber community ever again. And obviously, yeah, it just seems to be, getting worse and worse for her, over time. Now, I've talked about many situations to do with this entire drama. For example, stuff with merch sales. We looked at this thing from Our Culture, pretty much saying, they're going to be recycling a lot of the merch, or not recycling, but kind of giving it away to people that actually need it, because again, they have no business kind of collaborating with her or anything like that. There's also some people as well going out their way just to like straight up destroy the merch, which again, if that's something that you want to do, then go ahead, but honestly, I wouldn't. I feel like a lot of people like kind of are very quick to burn stuff and just destroy stuff and break stuff that is to do with anything bad. But sometimes you can probably hold on to it, kind of think about what's happened in the past, and how Cinder has helped you out in the past, because obviously Cinder didn't always have this kind of appearance, and people have had many positive experiences, which is one of the really big reasons why people are still holding on, and people don't want to believe this is true, or people want to still support her going forwards, because again, there's been this entire kind of thing built up, which has been a bit of a issue, but obviously we can see here from this person, they got 137,000 views, essentially saying, Pyropop here, just a reminder that Pyropop here, just a reminder that even though Cinder did something wrong, that doesn't give you the right to go out of your way to send actual hateful messages to her, whether it be through the server reacts or even actual DMs. This is a right. Now, obviously, we don't know the extent of how many DMs and messages Cinder has gotten, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that she's been getting quite a lot of hatred in DMs and in private, but also some other methods as well. And obviously one of the other methods is through the Discord like reaction system. If you don't know, obviously if there's like an announcement or rules or literally anything where you can't type, you can always leave a kind of emote reaction. And well, the problem with this is the fact that there's actual letters in the emojis and the emotes that you use on this kind of stuff, meaning that people can tell her to off herself, which again is something that just shouldn't be happening at all. I feel like it is too far to be saying that. And also you can see the other word that is below, which I'm not going to obviously say for very obvious reasons there, but if you don't know what that is, it's a very racial like motivated slur pretty much. And obviously Cinder, we know what she looks like IRL. She it's just literally someone throwing out the slur just because. It's not because of her race or anything like that. It's just literally due to the fact that some people like to go just extreme with that. They think it's edgy or cool or something to be kind of spamming those words in chat, which is just like, okay, bro, like, nice one, you got him, And as you can see, like, it's literally voted by one person. So one person thought it was funny and one person thought it was cool to kind of do that kind of stuff, which is just so dumb. Now, obviously, people in the replies saying, I'm pretty sure it's a single person doing this. The main chat is of that. They say it's not just that, but the do not post channel is being flooded by people saying extremely negative things, which was confirmed by a mod who remain anonymous. Yeah, we've actually seen a lot of kind of information, obviously, previously from the admin of the Cinder Discord who actually left. So they're probably kind of struggling right now in terms of kind of keeping a lot of the Cinder Discord under control, and that's why I think they've locked it for a pretty long period of time, because again, obviously the admins left, there's a little bit less control, and so the mods are probably trying to fight to kind of keep this a little bit more stable, because there's going to be a lot of people coming over and just being hateful and everything like that, which obviously is pretty powerful. And obviously, they're saying as well, like, they're saying extremely negative things. Now, this is one of the problems I do have in terms of finding out what negativity it is, because obviously there are some people who are slightly biased whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, in terms of, like, you have extremes of negativity, like what we just saw in that screenshot, which is terrible and should never be done. But also, some people like sometimes equate that to the same as them saying that they didn't like what Cinder did, which again can be pretty terrible. Like, it can be a terrible kind of similarity or a comparison, you could say, because again, they are not the same. It's two completely different extreme levels. You can hold Cinder accountable for what she's done. You can kind of talk about the fact that you don't like what she has done in the past and a lot of the drama that has gone on. But, you can't equate it to literally being hateful towards her, because, again, there's a difference between hate and there's a difference between being unhappy with a situation and a person's actions, which I think is completely different. And some people kind of struggle to split the two. But obviously, this person as well, saying Alexia Moivos, saying, I'm not justifying this, just stating an unfortunate fact that this was bound to happen the moment things were made public. It's the internet after all, and people do not behave in rational ways or overall. They will go to extremes for no discernible reason whatsoever, like this, which again, I think is definitely true. I think it's kind of dumb for someone to expect there to be no backlash or no kind of hatred towards her. Now, it should never be on a level that we just saw in that screenshot. I think, obviously that is way too far, but, it's kind of expected to see some hatred, whether that's in DMs, on a general chat or whatever, or in the comments. Literally anything. I think it's expected to see that, and I think, in some cases, as long as it's not too far, it's kind of deserved. Not to the level of that, by the way, not to the level of this screenshot, but I mean more so in the term of like, I don't like what you did, I'm not watching you anymore, that kind of negativity. So again, I think it's kind of expected for that to happen, and some people obviously think that, it's fine to go that far, which again, it's just like, what? Okay, no. But hey, we can keep going and say for some reason I'm pitying her. That's also another problem. Some people do start to feel sorry for the person that is getting, attacked by a ton of hate. Yeah, as I said, obviously we always knew that there was going to be hate towards our way. And as I said, to a certain extent, to a small extent, some hate is fine because obviously she, messed up, and some people do not like the fact that she messed up. Now, obviously going as far as I just said, it's not good at all, and it shouldn't be done at all. And I think, people seeing that, people do start to pity her a little bit more and start to forget the things that she's actually done. So I definitely recommend, if you are feeling that way, to go back, look through everything she's done, and then make up your decision, rather than just seeing like a couple of posts of her being like hated on and going, I kind of feel bad for her now, let's just kind of ease up. No, we've got to remember exactly what she's done in the community, and, keep going. And keep kind of holding her accountable until she actually apologizes properly. Because, again, she still hasn't actually apologized properly. She, mainly in her apology on Twitter, shifted all the blame over onto Redacted. Now, obviously, yeah, she owned up to a little bit, but again, it really wasn't that much. And it was just like, okay, like, what are we even doing here? So, again, I feel like it's sometimes an issue whenever people do start to pity her, just due to the fact she's getting hate. Hate comes with pretty much, every single bit of drama. So, yeah. They're saying, come on, that's not right. They're saying, I'm disappointed in people, thought using those reactions was a good idea. There's no point in adding fuel to the fire, better rise above it and above the negativity, which I do think is true. Obviously, I think people are just being a little bit petty with the reactions and stuff like that. I feel like, there is better ways to express your concern and stuff, whether that's through, a video, through a comment or whatever. It can be through literally anything else. But, I think that adding reactions with just random, like, slurs and stuff is just like, what the hell are you doing? Like, let's be real. What are you doing? Why do you think that was okay? Why do you think, you should have done that in the first place? Like, it's so dumb. And yeah, obviously, I think everyone's in agreement here that it shouldn't be happening. As bad as the stuff that Sinder has done in the past, and as bad as the stuff that's gone on in the drama, no one really deserves anything as that far, as what has gone on in that Discord server. And yeah, it seems like that Discord server is a literal hellhole. I think the Discord server is literally called hellhole, so it's pretty funny to see that it's actually become one. But it seems like, yeah, obviously a lot of the mods are struggling to keep it kind of under wraps and kind of keep it all together. So again, we'll have to wait and see what kind of happens with that in the future, and if there is any kind of updates to the Discord. But yeah, as I said, just don't go, hate on them for no reason. I feel like, especially after, it's been like a couple weeks as well. I know I said, a small amount of hatred is to be expected and stuff like that. It has been, a little while now. I think it's okay to lay off the hate and everything like that, because again, it's been a while, and I feel like a lot of people just continue it on and on and on for weeks and weeks and weeks. It just gets monotonous, and just like, you shouldn't really be doing that. Yes, for the first little outcry that happened, a week ago, sure, fine. But I think now it's just more about just waiting until we hear anything from Sinder herself and then just kind of holding her accountable and making sure that she does apologize for it and doesn't try to slime her way back into the community without apologizing properly and not shifting the blame onto someone completely different. But hey, that's pretty much the entire situation that's been going on. So if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about it, because again, it's very interesting. Obviously, I don't want to see a ton of hate for someone, but at the same time, we do need to hold her accountable for a lot of the stuff that she has done, and it was to be expected to see hate towards Sinder anyways. But yeah, I think that this level of hate is too far, and I hope that it does change in the future. But yeah, that's all I got, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.